Hey everybody, and welcome to the next map that I'm going to play, which is Honoghr Crash Site. This is a battle that revolves around a crashed capital ship, and in that sense it might of course remind some people of the Capital Down maps that of course also have the same thing, but that is more of a large-scale battle, whereas if you look here, you can see that this map is quite small in comparison. It's fairly also conventional with its spawn points, 3 on opposite sides for a nice bit of symmetry. But this map does something really well that I also point out in other maps where I say that it can be improved, and this map does exactly that. And that is putting a huge amount of detail and objects in the map to make it feel alive, but also to make the gameplay more interesting. The cool thing here is that you can see here that there's this small pool here, or pool of water here, and that is where the battle revolves around. However, the water is pretty deep, I think. Yep, as you can see, it's too deep for infantry. And so the battle on the water will actually only be fought by vehicles, while the infantry go around where you have, you know, more, I wouldn't say corridor-based, but definitely more close-range battles and in a personal engagement. Again, there are a lot of vehicles here that can really benefit from the openness of the water. But you can see here how this is actually square. Oh no, there's actually one spawn point at top doing that thing that I talked about before, about giving one team the edge over the others.
Our second wave of troops is being depleted.
This is also exactly what I'm talking about, where we have this lane combat and the roads are actually quite wide, but we have a lot of objects in there to make the world really, you know, come to life and feel detailed. And this is something that, for example, with the frozen altars, I think I said that could definitely be improved by just having more objects in there. And it doesn't necessarily have to be boxes, it can also be rocks, trees. And by doing this, because, you know, in a way, the battleground that we're fighting against is still just this open plain, right? There's no cover on the streets itself, but at the side there's a lot. So in that sense, it does enrich the gameplay a lot, in my opinion. Also a little bit here. I also have to say that the Tatooine architecture, what is this dude doing? Really fits in well with this. It reminds me of like Kessel, the color of the ground textures. Let's actually take a closer look at this here. So this is what I'm talking about, right? So you can see that the vehicles are all in the open, and the infantry can use the rocks here as cover to, you know, to avoid fire from the heavier tanks, and they can have their own battle here. And so you have one map and you have different types of gameplay, which I'm always a big fan of, because again, that it does cater to multiple wishes. You know, there are people who, for example, prefer the large-scale battles because they prefer, you know, to be in a vehicle or to have that large-scale battle feeling. And in that sense, this does cater to it without actually being a really large battle to begin with. This map supports two-way capture flag and regular conquest.
The command post is under Republic control. They're losing reinforcements.
There we go.
Keep it up.
Again, it's simple. As a Jedi, you will be at the other side in seconds. But because of that, it really feels epic and large scale without actually demanding something like XL. We will actually pretty soon review a map where, for example, it's super big and cool and epic. However, it does not support XL, and there have been sometimes maps that are just really cool in terms of their scale, but are too big to support a regular amount of units. I'm not entirely sure how many vehicles each team has. I think I saw at least 3 TX-130s. The cool thing too is that, as I said, the vehicles will fight on the open water, but the lanes are big enough, as you can see, for vehicles to go through here. Now they're too small or too narrow for example, 2 vehicles to be next to each other, so it will be like dual clashes that you will have here. So it will be one TX-130 against one AAT, so that will be also very interesting and very cool. It will be very strategic too, because as for example the main battle between the vehicles will happen on the water, you know, one pilot from each team, as you can see here, will try to break through on the lane to the south and try and capture a point to flank. Really, really cool, really strategic, a really well done map. This is definitely one I can recommend full-heartedly. Again, nice mixture. We have some Geonosis stuff in here, we have some Aigito stuff in here, Tatooine. It all just blends in well. It's not often that you see that something, for example, like Tatooine architecture blends in well with things of Aigito. It's just cool, it's spectacular too. And this is also one of those maps, I'm not too big of a fan of the two-way capture flag mode, but this is definitely one where you can have some really cool matches there too, because of the different approach. You know, you can go over the water, grab the flag, and then use either side to make your escape. Like this is, I'm not entirely sure if they still make maps like this. Gameplay has changed with things like, for example, Call of Duty, but back for, let's say like the Halo 2 era, right? They did make maps like this, where sections of the map cater to one specific gameplay style.
Lost control of a command post.
This is so much fun. It's so good. And it is exactly also what I said before, where I have said with some maps that they could benefit from having vehicles in them where they're infantry only. This map would not be as good if it was infantry only. They have 4 actually. 4 AATs, jeez. I know I can switch to hero unit, but I kind of don't want to. And again, you can see it's well balanced too. Even though we had the upper hand for a while with that one post, the AI is also look how the spawn points have shifted. It has shifted like 45 degrees.
Keep it up.
Yeah, no, this is how you make a map, ladies and gentlemen. This is how it's done.
A command post has been lost, but not the battle. That's another command.
Doesn't also mean that, you know, every map should have vehicles in them. Some that are, you know, catered to only infantry. Like Cothless Sea Haven is one that is infantry only, and it's just perfect. Like vehicles would not make any sense there. But sometimes the layout or like the wideness of an area makes it more logical to have vehicles in there.
They're losing reinforcements. Keep it up. A command post has been lost, but not the battle.
Yeah, this is Final Life. Alright guys, you can find the link to this map in the description down below. Don't forget to let me know what map or mod you want to see on this channel, and I will see you guys next time.